Hello everyone, this is Yajilin 3 from Yajilin Yacht. The theme here was Y is 4, and it's a very sparsely clued puzzle. So I want to jump right in with this 3 right clue, which is only one way that it can possibly resolve, and its follow-up loop segments. This 2 clue now has only one way it can resolve, and these 1s are now both satisfied. Uh, this 3 clue as well cannot have 2 shaded cells at the top, so there must be one here. And we can then do an entrance count to determine this cell is shaded because we can't have the loop passing through there. You can then again do an entrance count on this cell where it would force 2 passages, which would create 3 over here, which won't work. Therefore, the top cell is the one that's shaded. You can also make the loop go around the side. And at this point, there's kind of one really important step that first shows up in this puzzle. So first, this cell cannot be shaded because if it were, it would fork the line. At this point, we now have 4 cells here that both contain a shaded cell. Now, the interesting thing about shaded cells in a Yajilin is that they need to leave room for the loop to go around them. So if I were to try to shade here, and I would also shade here, and just considering the shaded cells, we get this segment, and this segment, which would on its own fork the line. However, this holds in general, this is a general property of shaded cells that are one away from a border. They cannot be 2 cells apart like they can on other parts of the puzzle. They must be at least 3 cells apart. Because if we were to assume the shaded cell was also here, you'd get the same problem. So once you know the shaded cells must be at least 3 cells apart, there's only the one option. And we can do an entrance count right here to determine this x. And we can also just wrap up the puzzle with very basic deductions. So the really crucial step here is, well, first there's the entrance counting, which is just so common in Yajilin to avoid having the wrong number of lines. It can be pretty clear to see how it fails in a small space, but it applies to larger spaces as well. And then this 2 down clue actually being quite forcing and more restricted than it might first appear. Let me just hit delete all. In isolation, it might look like there's room for 3 shaded cells here, or even 4, but the 2 here is actually maximal. There's just not room for 3, and I'll leave proving that as an exercise to the viewer. So until next time, where we'll take on Yajilin number 4.